Welcome to the Restoration Ninja Profits Podcast, highlighting the unsung heroes of the restoration industry. Tune in today for success stories and insider tips. Now, here's your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Restoration Profits Podcast, and I'm so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I'm going to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business and help you stay social. Because after all, don't you want to be the business that everyone's talking about? I know I do. And welcome, Ann Carden.
Hey, it's great to be here, Lorraine.
So tell me a little bit about what you do for a living, how you serve people.
Yes. So I'm a business consultant and I also have a marketing side to my business, but it's more on the media side. So helping people launch a podcast if they want to help. I'm launching a magazine. I'm getting ready to start an Expert in You magazine. So I really help people shine with their expertise. So whether they're the owner of their company or whether they're a professional entrepreneur, I really want them to be able to stand out, be seen, be heard, and really attract the people that they are looking to do business with, but kind of look like they are at the top of their industry and the go-to person. So I do both things. Yeah.
I love that. And how did you get started? What made you, did you wake up one day and say, oh, I think I want to be a coach. I think I want to help people with their marketing.
No, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So I have built 5 previous businesses. I have 2 right now, and I've sold all of those. And so through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I learned what not to do. I learned how to have successful businesses. And there's such a small percentage of businesses that are even saleable. So the fact that I've sold 5 of those, I know it has built a lot of credibility and trust with my clients. But I started coaching about 14 years ago, business coaching with very heavy on the marketing and sales side too. But I worked with a business coach and it was such a game changer in my last 2 businesses. I just knew that I had so much value to bring to people to help them not have the mistakes and the pitfalls and the struggles that I had trying to figure things out for many, many years as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. So I knew it was my next thing and I have absolutely loved it. And I've worked in, over 70 industries as a business coach.
That's awesome. We think that it's so easy to start your own business. And I know a lot of people struggle with that and think that, if they put up their website and they do, some social media and stuff, that they're going to get a client. But both of us really know it's through hard work. It's not simple. You've got to actually go out and meet people. You have to talk to people. I always have this saying that's like, if you don't have a conversation with somebody talking about your business, then you really don't have a business. So it's like you really need to be out there. So you mentioned, I love the fact that you have built 5 businesses, sold them, and that you talk a lot. You spoke in that little summary statement about making mistakes. Mm-hmm. And I think that I wish that everybody could learn from other people's mistakes, but sometimes they just have to make the mistakes themselves. But what are some mistakes that you have made building businesses and you want to help others avoid?
Probably one of the easiest ones to recall is not realizing that I was building a business. So when I started all of my businesses, it was me. It was just starting. I was good at something or I leveraged something that I knew. And I said, I'm going to make some money around this and start this up. But I think a lot of business owners kind of stay in that mindset of being solo or not building to sell or building to exit. And so learning that at some point you're going to exit your business. So do you want something that you can actually pass down, sell, have retirement? Not thinking like that from the very beginning, I think was one of my biggest mistakes. Now, I learned that after my first business and I was able to sell my designs and everything from that business. But when I went into my second one, I went in with eyes more open and said, at first I started just to see where it would go. But then when I saw that, okay, I can actually turn this into something, then all the decisions and everything I made was, how can I build this up so that it can almost become a retirement? And so all of my businesses then from there on out have been around that. And I think one of the biggest mistakes is people think too small. They do not go into business thinking, I'm building a business. I don't want to create a job for myself. I want to build a business. That was the biggest mistake I made from day one, because it affects all of your decisions. It affects everything that you do in your business if you don't have that bigger vision.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I actually went in with that mindset when I started out as a business coach myself. So, and I realized very quickly that, oh, I don't want to do this. I would rather just work for somebody if I have to, do everything.
Yes.
And I know in the beginning you sort of do have to do everything, but the idea is that you want to get bigger so you can delegate and scale, because until you can get to the point where you can scale, you're just going to be working a job.
It's like even in coaching, you can't even, I mean, this is probably most businesses really. You're not going to get much beyond that low 6-figure mark if you're by yourself. That's about as far as anybody will get, really, almost in any industry, whether you're a contractor, whether you're remodeling, whether it doesn't matter, you're only going to get so far. And the other piece of that is somebody still has to be working on the growth of the business, building the business. So if you're stuck in the weeds doing all the stuff and you're trying to do everything, you can't grow for that reason too, because nobody's marketing your business, nobody's growing. And if you hire someone like you, Lorraine, to market, you've got to have the manpower to be able to handle the work that comes in. So I have found, doing this for so many years, that low 6 figures is about as far as people get on their own. That's not much of a business, especially in the marketplace today. That's not much of a business. That barely makes an income, if that, by the time you put things back into your business to keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see in the industries that I work with and some of the home service industries and restoration companies that one of their biggest pain points is cash flow. And I feel that, that's across the board for every business. Cash flow is always seems to be a bottleneck or something that holds somebody back from advancing. What would you give for advice for someone who's having a cash flow problem?
Yeah. Well, oh my goodness, I've done so many cash flow turnarounds and so many turnarounds in businesses. There are so many factors here. Cash flow can be a lack of profitability. So your pricing is off. That can affect your cash flow. Your expenses are a problem. That can affect your cash flow. Not marketing enough so that you have consistent business coming in, or that you can't handle the business, that can affect your cash flow. So there's a lot of things to look at when people are trying to determine cash flow. But a lot of times it could also be they're taking a lot more, too much money out of the business. So when I go in and look at a business and assess what is going on, obviously we look at cash flow, because that's their bloodline. That is what will keep them thriving or surviving and going out of business very, very quickly. But different industries have different cash flow types of problems because of the industry. So maybe if the sales cycle is too long, that can affect cash flow. So you've got to plan for that, and you've got to put systems or things in place that can mitigate that. You also might have too much going out. And so that will affect cash flow as well if everything is being eaten up with expenses. But you've got to forecast. So there's a lot of things that can be done around it. But it's not a one size fits all. It's going to be different in every kind of business. Tractor, right? They're a lot of times you may have to have some sort of funding. So you're not taking all of the money out of your business. This is one thing that I teach people is don't take all the money out of your business. It affects your cash flow. It affects your growth. Get some source of funding so that you've got, funding that you can take out and then you can pay that back. A lot of people just don't have any of those things in place. And they're just always paycheck to paycheck or waiting on the next check to come in. And, they're one check away from going out of business.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that every business owner has to do is they have to sell and they have to get clients.
Somebody has to sell.
Yeah. And, in some of the service businesses that I work with, it starts with that phone call and how the phone is answered, and then it goes further. So what are some sales strategies or tips that would help others close more clients?
So you said it best. First of all, you're in marketing. I do a lot of marketing. It's a huge piece of what I do. And I believe your marketing should do the heavy lifting for you. So when you get that phone call, they are really almost convinced that you are the company or you are the person that can help them. And so then your sales conversations actually become easy and simple and effortless. But if you have terrible marketing and you're consistently getting the wrong types of leads, that's a big thing to look at. Are the leads good or are they not good? If you're getting the wrong kinds of leads, then it makes that sales conversation harder. But you said it right from the very first phone call. And I will tell you, I heard this so many years ago in one of my businesses from a conference that I had attended. And he said, people put their worst people on the phone. Businesses, it's like a second thought, it's like an afterthought. Okay, well, you're going to man the phones, right? You're going to man the front desk. You're going to be the person, and they'll put their grumpiest, worst person on the phone. And that is the first impression that people have of you and your business. I personally think the whole automation thing is horrible, horrible service. Nobody wants to sit there and push 40 buttons. Now, if you're a big conglomerate, you can get away with it. It is what it is. But if you're a small business trying to make it, that is only going to make people mad, and you're probably losing a ton of business at the front end. So put your best put your best forward, your best foot forward right there at the front end, and let that experience be great from the very first conversation. And that will start helping build the sales. The other thing is doing what you say you're going to do. I know, and I worked in a lot of contractor businesses, and they would just take phone calls and they would just set appointments and then they would never show up. If you just ran a great business and you put courtesy and respect and did the most basic things, you could dominate in industries because nobody does it anymore. Like customer service is out the window. People don't care anymore. It's common knowledge that businesses don't care. And if you just put in the effort to care and to run a good business, you would crush it in business. It's the most basic thing sometimes.
Absolutely. It's so funny. I think about that all the time when I'm actually calling the doctor up. It's all automated. And so I make it a point every time I go into the doctor's office for a visit, which isn't very much, that I complain about their automated service. And then somebody answering, I needed directions to this one office because it was a specialist, and they didn't know the directions because I'm in Connecticut and they were in Atlanta. I mean, it's like,
right.
No sense. But it's funny. You said, customer service, I believe, for instance, is a very lost art. It's like nobody is teaching that anymore. No. And it's so important. And it's like, people want to know that you really care. You care about fixing their problem or solution, having a solution for the problem. They want to care that you're going to go the distance for them when something else goes wrong or something goes good for them. So it's like they need somebody there to be there. So I know you have a book. You want to tell me a little bit about the book you have?
3 books, actually.
All right.
Yeah. So my first book, Insider Secrets to Small Business our insider secrets. Now you have to, it's a small business success. I had to think about it because I wrote it 14 years ago. It's very much a startup book for anyone getting into business and to getting into small business. So it really takes you, it's really a great blueprint on how to think, what the things that you need to know. So I have that one. And then I have 10 marketing and sales, money-making secrets every business owner must know. So that's out there too. You can get all of them on Amazon or at my website. And then my current one is really the one that's probably most relevant to what I do now. And it's called Expert in You, Build a Lucrative and Impactful Coaching and Consulting Business from Your Expertise. And so I help people take their brilliance, so for example, if someone's built this really incredible small business, they could now be teaching that to other people and they could be helping other people do that. So I help them build out a coaching or a consulting business from what they already know and from their knowledge and their experience and their wisdom. So that's a big piece of what I do.
I love that. So if there was one piece of advice that you could give that's universal now, so it has to be universal for someone who may be just starting out, somebody who's a seasoned business owner, or somebody who's thinking about it. A lot of people like to come out of corporate and buy a franchise or do something different. So what would that one piece of universal advice be?
Have your vision, know what your vision is for your business, and realize there's going to be bumps in the road. It just takes resilience. I believe anybody can be successful if they're willing to do what's necessary. Building businesses isn't easy. It is work. It takes work. It takes the right mindset, the right thinking. And again, realize there are going to be a lot of skills and things you don't know that you are going to have to learn, that you didn't just grow up with these skills, right? And so just realize that just because you know your thing doesn't mean you're going to be a great business owner. You're going to have to learn those skills too. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's the hard part for a lot of people is that they're passionate about maybe doing marketing, but when it comes to maybe the financial sides or the billing side, I remember when I first started out, my husband said to me, because he's a plumbing contractor, and he said to me, you do have to bill people. It's like, oh yeah, I'm a creative.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to running a business, and you have to learn them all to some degree so that you know how to hire, who to hire. And I just think that a lot of people get into business, they don't even realize that. You always hear, you don't know what you don't know. But I think that's so true. You get into business, just realize that when you're getting into business, you're taking on a lot of different hats. It's not just your thing. Don't just go in with your thing. You're going to have to learn marketing. You're going to have to learn sales and finances and profitability and, team building and leadership, even just leading. I've worked a lot of times and realized too, that at every level, you have to take your ego out of it in your business, because at every level, there will be more that you don't know that you will have to learn at every level. And a lot of people do not realize these basic things when they get into business. When you're doing it all by yourself, it's okay. You can figure it out. But when you're trying to lead a team to do it, you have to understand systems, and you have to understand how to train people, and you have to understand what makes a good leader. And I've seen so many people outgrow their businesses because they refuse to grow.
Yeah. And it's really important. It's like, if you're not, I have this thing.
Business outgrow them. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Business outgrew them because they refuse to grow. Yeah. I said that backwards. Sorry about that.
It's okay. So thank you very much for being on the Restoration Ninja Profits podcast. And I know probably there may be a few people that might have resonated with you for sure. So is there anything that you'd like to, if they need to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
Yeah. So if you want to book a call and, I'm happy to take a look at your business if you're serious about maybe getting a coach or getting some help in your business. and I do everything from, I do strategic marketing, but I do sales training, I do revenue, profit growth, all those things. I can take a look at your business, and you can book a call with me at acarden.com, and we'll see where it is you want to go and what might be stopping you from getting there. And then what could be the plan that we could put in place together to help you really achieve what you want in your business. And again, I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of business owners, entrepreneurs, so many industries. So there's almost not an industry that I, can't help someone in.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again. And to everyone out there, I'll see you next week.
Thanks for joining the Restoration Ninja Profits podcast. Armed with today's insights, you're set to elevate your restoration company. Subscribe to stay ahead.